Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the fireside chat with Andre de Grasse, which will be an inspirational and unique conversation. My name is Alicia Mirage, and I am a senior consultant in our workforce transformation within Human Capital Consulting. I am the co-lead for this year's Black in Canada with Lizzie Solomon. We are so excited to be welcoming you to our third edition of Black in Canada. That's right. This is the third year that we are organizing Black in Canada, which is a nationwide initiative serving as a commitment to tackling anti-Black racism within and beyond the firm. Before we begin, I want to mention that if you would like to listen to the French translation of this webcast, you please go to the bottom right hand of your screen and click the More button and then the Interpretation button to choose the French language option. There is a question and answer planned at the end of the chat, so please submit your questions in the Q&A window for Andre and AV. As we kick off this conversation, we would like to acknowledge that our offices reside on the traditional, treaty, and unceded territories as part of Turtle Island, North America, which is still home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples. We'll also want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which our Chilean offices sit and pay our respect to those owners, past, present, and future. I'm going to pass the baton on to Lizzie for the introduction of our amazing speakers.
Thank you, Alicia. Hello, everyone. My name is Lizzie Solomon, and I am a senior consultant in our HR transformation team in Human Capital Consulting. As mentioned previously, this is the third edition of Black in Canada. In our first Black in Canada webinar in 2021, we talked about the racist frameworks and structures in the workplace. In the second year, we discussed accountability and progress in dismantling anti-Black racism from both an organizational and cultural perspective. The other aspect of dismantling Black racism is to amplify the achievements of Black professionals. This year, we are shifting the narrative and we're focusing on showcasing Black excellence and elevating the voices of Black leaders and communities so that they can continue to inspire, drive change, and create opportunities. Today, we want to showcase an example of Black excellence in hopes to inspire the audience to be themselves and to conquer adversity. Without further ado, I want to introduce the speakers of the fireside chat, Anthony Viel and Andre de Grasse. Anthony Viel became the Chief Executive Officer of Deloitte Canada in June 2019. His vision for the firm reflects a commitment to pursue bold and focused growth choices to make a better Canada and Chile for our clients and our communities. Anthony joined Deloitte in 2000 in Australia. Since then, he's made a significant impact on the firm, holding a number of leadership roles in forensics and financial advisory in Australia. Most recently, he was the managing partner of financial advisory, led our analytics offering in Canada, and headed our greenhouse program. In these roles, Anthony fostered the development of key talent at Deloitte. He is an innovator, establishing leading service offerings and taking new products to market. Anthony is a passionate wellness advocate, lives in Toronto with his wife and 4 children, and is known within the firm simply as AV. Hi, AV. How are you?
I'm very well, Lizzie. Thank you for the kind introduction.
Welcome. And last but not least, we have Canadian Olympian Andre de Grasse. With 6 Olympic medals, Andre de Grasse is the most decorated male Olympian in Canadian history. Andre captured medals in all 3 sprint events at both the 2016 Rio Olympics and again 5 years later at the Tokyo Olympics. He's the reigning Olympic champion in the 200 meters, having upgraded the silver he won back with Usain Bolt in 2016. Rather than reading out more of his bio, we thought it might be more engaging to show you his journey with a short video.
And in lane number 8, from Markham, Ontario, the Canadian fanning the fans here, letting the pressure melt off his shoulders. Andre de Grasse, gold medal champion here at the Pan Am Games, going for
Pressure, 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 keep building. I can't step less, I feel it. Too much extras to deal with. Oh, pressure, 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 keep building. I can't step less, I feel it. Too much extras to deal with.
There's a little bit of pressure now. You know, I'm not the underdog anymore. I'm not the, you know, the little kid coming in, you know, first Olympics, you know, just trying to establish my name. You know, I kind of, you know, did that through the Rio 2016 Olympics, and now I'm thinking bigger. You know, obviously, you know, I've got a bronze medal, I've got a silver medal, but you know, I'm missing a gold medal in my career, and that's something I want to do. You know, at the 2020 Olympics.
It's a clean start. Brown got away well towards the inside. But it's Bednarek at the moment. Now de Grasse trying to come through on the inside. 5 North Americans. Look at Lyles. But he's trailing at the moment. Andre de Grasse, is he finally going to get there? Yes, he is! Absolutely phenomenal! At last! At last! It is all gold for de Grasse.
They didn't think that we would make it up. They didn't believe in us. Oh, but I know God did. Oh, yes, He did.
Just going home well inside 20 seconds.
But I know God did. Oh, yes, He did.
Yeah, I started the ADG Family Foundation back in 2018, and that was to inspire kids through sport and education and try to, you know, provide them with resources that, you know, that they might not have growing up. So for me, you know, when I was growing up and when I got into track and field, one of the things that really stood out to me was that I made my first Pan American Junior Championship, and I had to find funding and find a sponsor to take me to the games. And that's one of the things that I want to try to provide for kids growing up, whether that's in track and field or just in any other sport. So those are the things that I try to just focus on, and then of course just helping them get the resources so that they can go off to get a good education. So we've done a great job so far. I have a great team around me, and that's something that I pride myself to do off the track, just to be so that I can be a better person.
Wow, what an impactful video. Just getting goosebumps from watching that, but it's definitely a perfect way for us to segue into the fireside chat. So I'm going to pass it over to AV to moderate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lizzie. And just a sound check. You got me, Andre?
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, welcome. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. And I don't know about goosebumps, but I'm quite intimidated having just watched that video, having the honor of talking to you today.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So tell me, Andre, did you ever imagine when the younger Andre de Grasse would have achieved what you have achieved by 2023? You must be pinching yourself every day, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's crazy to believe. I mean, track wasn't on my radar when I was growing up in high school. I mean, I wanted to be an NBA basketball player. I grew up watching the Toronto Raptors, and one of my favorite players was Vince Carter. So track was never in the picture. I mean, of course, I pinch myself every day. I mean, I can't believe this is real. I've been to 2 Olympics and, been able to accomplish so much. I got to take it back to how this all happened for people who don't know here on the call.
the story of how it, just happened by chance. I mean, I was literally in my last year of high school. I was on the bus going home from a co-op placement. For people who don't know what the co-op placement is, you get credits. You go out and hand out your resume and you go get credits and, by doing a job. So I was trying to figure out, literally, PE. I was handing out resumes for I'm trying to be a car mechanic, like just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the next part of my life, because after basketball was over. So, I mean, I bumped into my friend on the bus, the Toronto Transit, and, we were catching up, and he was telling me how he was going to York University, that's up in Toronto, about, he was going to a track meet, and, I just friendly banter. And, I would say to him, like, there's no way that you're fast. I can't believe it. Like, you of all people being fast. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm fast. I have a coach, I have a trainer. I go up to York to practice. And, I said, all right, let's make a friendly wager. I'm going to come out there and, I'm going to beat you. And he said, yeah, come, come prove it. So I remember just going, asking my high school teacher, who was also the track coach at the time. And I asked her if I could join the team. And she said, yeah, of course, we always need people. So come out, join. And, so she gave me a uniform. And I remember going out there to the track. And to be honest, I was a little bit intimidated because I saw people just running and they were in spikes, they were doing like, these warm-ups where, I see them sprinting down in blocks and I'm like, I don't even know how to use these things. Like, so for me, it was all like a brand new territory. And I just wanted to go out there and prove to my friend that, that I could beat him. And to be honest, I went out there, I gave it a try, a leap of faith, and, didn't think much of it. And I went out there and ran and didn't even use the starting blocks or anything like that. And ended up running pretty fast and beating my friend. And he was in shock, of course. He was like, oh, wow. Like, like he couldn't believe it. And for me, it was just like, yeah, just a one-time thing. I'm never thinking about doing this again. But then, as I was leaving the track, a former Olympian from the 1984 Olympics from Los Angeles, Tony Sharp, he came up to me and was just like, hey, kid, I believe you have the talent to do something special. I've never seen anything like it. And I kind of brushed him off a bit, being a kid and, just saying, what is this guy talking about? I just came out here one time. This is not my thing. This is not what I do. And he was like, no, really, I'm serious. You should come out to my track meet. I can help you get to the next round. I can help you prepare, try to get to the OFSA championship and see what can go from there. So, I took him up on the offer. I ended up going out there and training for a couple of weeks and ended up making the OFSA championship. And then he was like, hey, what do you want to do? And for me, I was just like, well, I'm thinking about going to college, trying to, figure out what I want to do with my career, my life. And he was like, well, why don't you use track and, get a scholarship and use it to pay for your education? And, of course, my mom and everybody around me was like, yeah, do it, go for it. And it ended up happening. So, I mean, it was all a dream at once, and it turned into reality overnight. So I think I was just lucky, and I was blessed to be in that position, and to be able to have some good people around me to say, go for it, make it happen. So, and now I find myself here. So I definitely pinch myself every day, and I can't believe that it's real.
Well, it's truly amazing, Andre. And you talked about some powerful motivators. I mean, the powerful motivator of a friend and wanting to beat a friend. I'm sure all of us in the audience can relate to that, albeit not running 100 meters under 11 seconds. I think it was the first time that you did that. But also the mentorship. I think you said sort of Tony sort of played a bit of a role for you at first, if nothing else, just to open your aperture. Can you share with the audience just how important that was for you and how it helped you see a bigger opportunity in the future for the young Andre de Grasse?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, yeah, it opened up so many doors for me that I never thought was possible. First of all, getting something like my education paid for, that doesn't happen every day, especially coming from a single family household like myself. now I'm like, I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead of the curve. And now I can say, okay, well, even if track doesn't work out, I still have something to fall back behind. I have a university degree or I have a college degree. Well, I went to junior college first and then I went to university. So I have 2 degrees now to say, oh, wow, okay, I can do something that is positive in my life if anything track doesn't work out. So, I mean, just having the people around me, that support system pushing me every single day, like my mom, obviously the coach Tony, just guiding me along the way and saying, hey, you know, this is something you can do. This is, even if like, because he didn't at the time, even though he said I could do something special, he didn't even care if I didn't think about the Olympics. He didn't think about the Olympics. Mm-hmm. He was just like, hey, use this to open up other doors for you, open up other avenues for you. And that's what sport does. I think, you know, it's, you meet so many different people from so many different backgrounds, different cultures, and they can help guide you, you know, to that next step. So it didn't have to be, if it wasn't the Olympics, I would have been okay with it. I would have been okay with it at the time because, you know, as a kid, you know, 17, 18 years old, I'm just experiencing life. I'm going through, you know, the motion and, you know, I'm getting to see the world, you know, getting to travel, going to different countries, going to different states, and just, you know, just mingling and being in that moment. So definitely just having those people around me in that support system, it just helped guide me along the way and got me to where I am today.
It's such a, like a lot of us can go back to, you know, points in time in our career and just having that, I don't know if it gives you confidence or just, you know, just gets you inspired to sort of take a step out there a little bit and try something. I often tell folk who join us to sort of just say yes every now and then, or open yourself up to the possibility of yes. And then once you get through that, you can see a whole wider opportunity set for going forward, which is intimidated to start with, but sounds as though you went through that. It was almost like the aperture opens a little bit and then you get a bit more experience and it opens a little bit more and then a little bit more. And now I bet you believe you could do pretty much anything that you wanted to do, given where you're at now.
Definitely. I mean, of course, it just, I think it gives you a little bit, at first you're a little bit nervous because, you know, you go through, you know what door to go through, like door A or, you know, door B, but it turns out that any one of these doors can be something special. It can be something great. If you just, you know, stay committed and put your mind to it. So for me, that's what I did. I said, I can't have no fears. I got to be fearless. I got to, you know, come out here and just say, hey, I'm going to give it a try. No matter what anybody says, no matter anybody's opinion, just go out there. And then I think the people that surrounds me and just gives me that confidence, booster to say, you can do it. You know, you can make it happen. You can do something special. And that's what it's all about. Because it's really, to be honest, it really takes a team effort. You can't just, you know, sometimes you have to just, some people just have to push you a little bit just to, you know, go out there, just say, all right, now we go down to the real world and you got to just try to do something with your life. So, you know, obviously it takes baby steps. There's, you know, baby steps along the way, but of course, you know, you just try your best to make it happen.
Yeah, that being hungry and humble delivers good things. And if you mentioned it several times, the support infrastructure behind you, or we'll use words like mentorship or sponsorship, having folk in your corner to sort of nudge you in the right direction. But at the end of the day, you've got to have that hunger and drive going forward. And you can, your mum, she obviously must have made a lot of sacrifices to sort of get you to where you got to so far. Is, you know, you want to talk a little bit more about that support system?
Yeah. I mean, my support system is amazing. I feel like I'm so blessed to have these people in my life. Like you said, like you mentioned, my mom, she's made so many sacrifices for me to be able to be where I am today. You know, just the little things, you know, you don't even realize it as a kid growing up, but just the things that she's done along the way to, you know, have the finances to be able to do the sport, you know, because sometimes obviously everyone knows sport costs money. You know, you have to have the funds, you have to have the finance to be able to, the resources to be able to pursue the sport on a high level. to train every day, all the car rides, the gas, the mileage. So everything that she's done, she's always made sure that, she's there to make it happen, So as a kid growing up, I always had to, she'd get me to track after work. She'd get me to track practice or basketball practice, whatever it is. She'd make sure I have a good meal at home waiting for me. She's like, you got to make sure you have a good meal. You're doing all this high intensity stuff. You got to make sure that you're eating right and making sure that you're hydrated. You don't want to, injure yourself. So just all those things that you realize, at the time, as you get older, your mom, just your parents do for you. And you're like, oh, wow, I'm so appreciative of it. As a kid, you don't realize it. But now as being a parent myself, I kind of realize the sacrifices you have to do as a parent to get your child, to that next level, right? To that next step. So definitely my mom, she's been, my rock for sure, doing all those great things. And then of course, just having like a team around me, like my management team, as I've gotten into the sport more, they help me balance my career, balance my life on and off the track, because it can be stressful. As you're a CEO, you got so many things to do, but you got to have the people around you to help you balance that. You can't do everything, right? So just having that team around me, that my management team, just to say, okay, they help me with my schedule, they help me, balance, okay, this is what I cannot do, and just try not to overwhelm myself, right? So having that, and then of course, just on the track, then of course I have my coach, I have my physiotherapist, I have my doctor, like just all the people that help me get to the line. That's the toughest part, I feel like sometimes, because to get to the line, you have 50, 60,000 people watching you. And, of course you have people in the stadium, and then you have people watching you back home and everything. But that's the hardest part, right? You got to get to the line. So these people help you get to the line. They make sure that you're ready and that you're ready to do something good. So of course you're always navigating and talking to your coach of what you can do better in training. Your physiotherapist is making sure your body is in tune, mentally, physically, emotionally. And then you have your doctor making sure that, okay, everything is, going well. You're hydrating, your nutrition as well. Everything that you're putting into your body is good for you, and it's going to help fuel you to get to the finish line. So the team is great. Like, I mean, I've had, I've been so blessed to have all these people in my corner that's had me to have that longevity in my career to keep going and keep pursuing and striving for more greatness. Because in a sprinter's lifespan, being able to go to 2 Olympics, it's not really, it's unheard of, it's not something that happens every single day. So I think just having great people around you, and they're helping you make sacrifices as well, to make sure that you're on top of your best performance and your best ability, that goes a long way. So definitely that the team is everything. The team runs the ship, without the team, it's like there's no Andre de Grasse.
It's so true. And the support team can sometimes see things more clearer for you as well. And you spoke a lot about looking after your body and making sure. I'm hoping that you look after your body so you can run in the Brisbane Olympics in 10 years' time, and I can come and watch you down there as well. But so keep at it.
I know, right? If I make it that far, that would be amazing.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Just changing tack a little. It's Black History Month. Any reflections on Black History Month for yourself? I mean, how do you feel about the month, and what do you do a little differently, if anything, in the month?
Yeah, I mean, I think Black History Month is so important. It's all about celebrating the culture, celebrating the people before me who have done some amazing things. What comes to my mind when I think about Black history and just even Black excellence is like, the people that have done things that have never been done before. I think about number 42, Jackie Robinson, being the first Black player to make it to make it peak. I think about Rosa Parks being at the front of the bus. I think about Barack Obama being the first Black president. So, I mean, just all these great, or even Venus and Serena changing the game of tennis. So I just think about all these great, legendary people before me that have just done some amazing things and helped pave the way for myself and other Black or athletes or musicians or individuals in general. They've done so much for the culture. They're able to they've been able to conquer some things that you've never done before. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's really just all about continuing to blaze the trail and kind of like just follow in the footsteps of my ancestors. For me, I always try to consider myself as, try to be a good role model, try to uplift my community as best as I can. And that's the way to go. So yeah, whenever I think about Black History Month, it's just all the people that have just, broken barriers, broken records, and just done some incredible things that you never thought was possible.
It's so important to build on the shoulders of giants, the trailblazers, if you will, and use a running analogy: take the baton and run it for a piece, and then hand the baton on to somebody stronger, better, faster as well. So we had a question. We had a question when you were offline. We had a video question to sort of say who inspired you on the track, and you mentioned a couple of folk there recently. But is there any Canadian Olympian that inspired you in the early days?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Of course, I mentioned before, when I got into track, Tony Sharp. At the time I didn't know exactly who he was at the time when I met him, but when I did some research and I looked up all the things he was able to accomplish on the track, that was something special. It kind of inspired me to say, oh wow, this guy here, he's a 1984 LA Olympic bronze medalist. He ran with some of the greatest individuals. So I mean, there's so many people, Donovan Bailey, that's kind of inspired me as well. Bruni Sarin. So a lot of track guys from the early days that have kind of gave me that inspiration and gave me that hope to kind of just, keep going.
You're talking my language. We're in the 80s and 90s now, so that's terrific that we're talking that.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Guys I'm chasing those guys. Donovan and Bruni have the Canadian record of 984. So that's something that I've been trying to chase for a while now, and hopefully I can, break their record.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will. Let's talk a little bit about breaking breaking barriers, and the resilience that you need, the grit that you need to be able to break those barriers. Can you tell us a little bit about when the Olympics got postponed due to COVID in 20? I mean, you're in a sport where you're trying to get it right at that minute, on that day, in that month, in that year. And we talk a lot about in business about ambiguity and knowing what's coming around the corner. Tell me how you handled that sort of delay, if you will, and how you had to reset yourself and get yourself ready to achieve what you did achieve at the games when they eventually were held.
Yeah, it was tough. It was really tough. I mean, to be honest, if I'm being honest with you, when the games got postponed, I was kind of happy a little bit, because I felt like I wasn't just in the right mental space to be able to perform. It was during a tough period. A lot of my family, a couple of my friends, were getting laid off of work. People were losing their jobs. People were passing away. So I was just kind of like a little bit stressed out thinking about them compared to myself. I just wanted to try to, figure out ways of how I can help them. So I kind of took my mind off of track. I wasn't even worried about track. I mean, I spent a lot of time with my family, my kids, just, being there with them, because they were off of school and everything. So I was just home with them for 3-4 months. Of course, they tired me out, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I just stayed. I spent my time with them. I tried to figure out ways to make a difference. So one of the things that during that time, I remember I was reading to my daughter, and I was like, maybe I should write a children's book. And I feel like I have a good story. So, that's what I did. I ended up, reaching out to my team and saying, hey, I want to write a children's book. I want to be able to, uplift some kids some way. So I ended up doing that during that time. And then I remember this 15-year-old kid named Jesse, he reached out to me and was like, hey, he told me he was going through a rough time. School was canceled, sports was canceled. And we came up with a good idea called the Race With Me Virtual Challenge. So the Race With Me Virtual Challenge basically consists of you go out to the track every week, you run 400 meters, and you try to lower your time for the next week. So we kind of use that as a charity initiative, and we teamed up with Kids Help Phone. That was one of the, looking at different charities that, because I've seen a lot of kids are struggling with mental health, and Kids Help Phone really stood out to me. So we teamed up with them. We did the Race With Me Virtual Challenge, and it was incredible. We raised a lot of money. The kids enjoyed it. I remember going back to my high school, and all the kids were telling me how much they loved in that period of time because it was just such a difficult time for them. So for me, I was just trying to find so many ways, so many different avenues of just trying to make the world a better place. I wasn't thinking about track. I wasn't thinking about, I got to run another 100 meters. None of that was crossing my mind at the time. So I just, I think, for me during that time, of course, I still wanted to stay fit. But, so I would, obviously I had to continue to stay dedicated to my craft. So I would go out and try to find a grass field, try to figure out, I ended up buying a weight rack and just set it up in my garage and started lifting weights, just trying to find ways to just kind of continue to still stay active because, it's good for my mental health. It's good to just, exercise and do those things. But I wasn't like pushing it, it was more of a, like you said, it was more of a reset button, just trying to reset and figure out where life was going to take me. And then, as time went on, then they said, okay, the pandemic is opening back up. Things are starting to, get back to normal a bit. And that's when I was like, okay, well, now it's time to start back my training, time to start to gear up. Then the Olympics said, okay, we postponed it, but we're going to actually do it in 2021. So that kind of brought a little bit of motivation and inspiration to me and say, okay, the Olympics are coming back. I got to get ready. I got, I feel good again. So just all those things, I just kind of just told myself, I was like, try to figure out how to help people, how to, make their life a little bit better and try to, find some inspiration and hopefully I can bring back a gold medal for Canada. So, that's kind of how I kind of thought of it during that pandemic, but for sure, it was definitely, it was tough, but I think we got through it. I'm happy that, we're here now. Things are starting to turn around and it looks like, things are starting to move in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's bad to say there's some good things that have come out of the pandemic as well, and not the least of which awareness around mental health and the importance of mental wellness. And you're giving us a wonderful example of how important that is. I mean, with us, we're trying to embody some of the corporate athlete sort of approaches to, sometimes you train hard, you win the gold medals, sometimes you rest and you do it again, but being balanced all the way through that is integral to sustainability and longevity in anything you do, quite frankly. So really resonated, and mental health for you, and that the mental health platform that you set up has changed the lives of many others. And we talk about having a personal purpose. I mean, that's what a wonderful gift to give back, to be able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, giving back, it means the world to me. It makes me feel good. I enjoy it. I love putting a smile on all the kids' faces. So it's always a great thing to be able to do that. So I just kind of want to just pay it forward. I've seen so many people done some great things for me, and I want to just kind of return that and pay it forward.
And it's so great. Tell me about your business. You're in the business world these days more and more as well. I mean, how are you transferring what you've learned on the track and how you've learned about yourself and raising a young family? How you're translating those life skills into the way you look at business?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like it's similar in a way. The skill set. You need work ethic. Mm-hmm. You need to have dedication. You need to be committed. These are all the same skills that I try to just take to the business world. For example, I remember, I was launching my wine brand, and
I noticed that one. I'm pretty good at that one. So
yeah, and I had no idea. Like, I didn't know much about wine at the time. Like, I I was kind of a newbie, like, you know, just a rookie, just trying to figure out my way. I remember going to the wine, I remember going to the, you know, check out the wines and wine tasting and just, you know, figure out what works, you know, what works. So, but I knew I had to take those same skills. Like I had to say, okay, well, it takes a team, right? You know, just like track, it takes a team. So I have to come together with other people, together with other people collectively and say, hey, you know, these are the things that we're looking for. These are things, you know, we don't like, and we have to come together and say, and make it work, right? And say, okay, everyone's trying it. No, this is not it. Yes, this is it. And figure out a way to all put our minds together, and voila, here we have a great wine, right? So, yeah, I just think about using those same skills with track and having my team, you know, will guide me along the way, whether that's my coach, like I said in a previous question, my coaches, my teammates, all these people around me that keep pushing me to be my best. So I'm just like, well, I want to be the best in track. Well, I want to be the best and make the best wine. Like, I just try to take those same attributes and try to bring it to the business world. But of course, you know, I think it takes a lot of patience, right? Patience are definitely is a skill that I've learned throughout the time, where like in track, you always have to continue to set small goals, because you're not gonna hit the home run every single time and hit your big goal. So it's just like in the business world, I feel like, you know, you have to set small goals in order to get to the big goal. So I feel the same way. I feel like it's the same skills. So for me, like I said, work ethic, perseverance, dedication, stay committed, and stay focused on the craft, and you're gonna get results.
And we talk a lot about the growth mindset, Andre, which is, you know, getting better one step at a time. Like you said, you don't go from nothing to a lot without those small steps, and the learning along the way of getting a few things wrong. And I'm sure that's something that would resonate with you. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, in track, I feel like I get it wrong all the time. You know, I know people only see, like, you know, they see me run the race, but we train 6 days a week. And most of the time, out of all those days, I'm getting it wrong. My coach is telling me all the time, I got to do this, I got to do that. Stop doing this. Stop, you know, come on, you could. So it takes a lot of commitment and focus to be able to learn from those mistakes and keep going. So I think it's the same, like you said, in the business world. You're gonna make mistakes, and you have to just continue to just grow and get better every single day. And if you can do that, the sky is the limit.
If you don't, I always say, if you don't make a mistake, you're either lying to yourself or you're not aiming high enough. And I think the biggest travesty is not making the mistake; it's not learning from the mistake. So that really resonates with me. We got some audience questions. But maybe like 60-second round, if you will, because there was a video that played, which you may not have caught because you lost connection there. There's a video we played, and we have a young member on the line who wants to know when you're coming back to Vancouver and racing in Vancouver. So any ideas on when you'll be back in Vancouver?
Oh yeah, I'll be back in Vancouver actually this year. We have the Canadian National Championship. I believe it is in, I haven't looked at the date, so don't quote me, but I believe it's in late June or early July. But I'll be back. So I'll be back this summer to race. So I'm looking forward to being back in Vancouver. It's been a couple of years, so I enjoy running there.
Well, you just made one super fan really, really happy. He's also got the shirt ready to go, the custom-made Andre de Grasse shirt. As a father of three, what legacy do you want to leave? What do you tell your children as to, you know, what they should be looking for, or the choices they make?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, for me, I always want to tell my kids to be, you know, open for change. You know, continue to grow as individuals. So when they look at me and they look at what I've done in my career, I mean, yes, everything's great with all the accolades and and all that. So I want them to know that, okay, yes, daddy had accolades. He worked hard. He was determined. He persevered. He went through adversity. And just to know that, you know, you're going to go through those similar things in life, you know, and you have to know how to handle it. And you got to say, okay, well, you know, hopefully they look at me as kind of a hope and inspiration to say, you know, I've done it, and now you can do it as well. You know, all you have to do is continue to really be fearless. So definitely, as they look at that, the accolades, and then of course, you know, off the track, I want them to know that, you know, daddy did everything that he can to kind of just be the best individual, be a philanthropist, be the best father he can be for you guys, to try to provide. I know that he gave it his all in everything that he's done. So I think that's super important for them to know as they're growing up and they're continuing to grow and, you know, into themselves and trying to figure out who they are going to be when they grow up. You know, of course I have my, you know, they feel like they're going to be track stars, but you know, I never tell them what they can and cannot do. I said, you know, whatever you want to do, whether it's sport, you know, music, you know, politics, whatever it is, business, just, you know, do it to the best of your ability. Be the best that you can. Always, you know, always work hard and just give it your best. So, yeah, I mean, my legacy, I feel like they'll know that I did everything that I can to try to be the best person, best individual I could be. So, yeah, they'll see all, I think they'll kind of know. So, but for me, I just hope that what they learn the most is that for me is that, you know, be open to change and continue to grow to be the best version of yourself.
That's great advice, and you know, I'm sure the audience, you know, they're all extremely successful folk. Their children following them always, you know, are looking at a higher bar and a higher bar. But
yeah.
Also to be, you know, happy knowing that they've done their very best, and they mightn't run the, in your case, you know, sub 100 meters, but it's still, they're leaving it all out there. They're fearless and they're happy. And I think that's a very important objective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I got another question from the audience here, and in regards to your opportunities and your gratitude towards the opportunities you've had, what would you like to see us doing as citizens and members of society to continue offering more and more opportunities? What is your wish list for us to give to future Andres out there?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a good question. I mean, I think you guys are, to be honest, I think you guys are doing a great job right now. You know, you guys, I see you guys are, just from learning about, you know, we talked 30 minutes before this call and what the things that you guys are doing in the company. You guys are being open to change. You guys are doing these talks, yeah, or no, sorry, not talks, but events like this, you know, whether that's virtual or in person. You know, I just heard that, you know, I just found out today that this is the 3rd edition. I didn't even know that. So I think you guys are doing an amazing job and with everything you guys are doing. I mean, of course, you always want to improve, you know, but I think as you keep going on your journey, you know, just continue to try to find, I would say, not big goals, but set small goals towards the big goals, so that you can continue to keep developing and being great as a company. That's what I always try to tell myself when I'm going through things like, yes, I want to be an Olympic champion, but I have to set small goals in order to become an Olympic champion. So that's, for me, that's whether that's continuing to nutrition, hydration, get better sleep, make sure that I'm managing my schedule, I'm staying focused on the task at hand. So I just got to tell you guys that continue to just keep evolving, keep working towards the big goals, but obviously set small objectives along the way and keep pursuing the best possible narrative that you can. So, but like I said, I have no complaints. You guys are doing an amazing job, and I just want you guys to keep up the great work and keep enjoying and keep going. You know, keep going. 15, like you told me on the call, you have 15,000 staff members. That is incredible. So you guys are obviously doing something right, and you guys are opening up a lot of opportunities for people.
We're trying. We've got a commitment to mirror representation of Canada across our organisation at all levels. It's something we believe deeply in, that, you know, creating a workplace, and hopefully folk in the audience today, creating workplaces where everybody has an opportunity. Core ingredients that you sort of mentioned, perseverance and grit and training and looking after yourself. Everyone is entitled to be successful with all of those ingredients, and we're just trying to be one workplace, and hopefully there's others that can be inspired and help us become even better in that regard. So I appreciate your comments there.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, being inspired. So that's the way to go.
Tell me, what else can we be doing for the next generation of track and field athletes here in Canada? What's missing, perhaps?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough. I mean, the weather is cold.
I didn't notice that, mate. Coming from Australia, or it's not.
It's tough, but I think, you know, I think it's great. You know, we're starting. I've noticed that throughout the years now, we're starting to have more facilities to be able to use. You know, I just noticed, you know, of course we have the York University, we have, you know, University of Toronto. So it's good. I mean, it's good for the indoor weather. The cold weather, so we can run indoor. We can go inside and, you know, avoid the snow, right? Because it's not good for sprinters. But I think overall, just in Canada, they're doing a good job of just having more hubs. You know, we have the East Hub now, we have a West Hub. Mm-hmm. So I think it's good that you guys are showing support. You know, of course, if it's good to come up on board as a sponsor, that's even amazing. That's great. But, you know, I think everything is moving in the right direction, and you see a lot more people involved in track and field nowadays than before. So the level of participation has gone up tremendously. So I think it's good, you know, because for me, I know I come back when the weather is good, and then I'm here, but I now feel like I can spend a little bit more time now in Toronto when it comes to indoor.
It's sage advice, and fascinates me, you know, coming from a country where it's basically the weather is hot to very hot all year round, and always being outside. What an advantage that is for young athletes to get access to facilities and the like. So as I said, sage advice. Andre, we're coming to the top of the hour. Now I feel as though I can continue to keep asking you questions here, but I'll pass back to Alicia. But let me say, you know, sincere gratitude for you coming along and sharing your wisdom today, and inspiration with the audience. And I'll now hand back to, I think it's Alicia or Lizzie, perhaps. Close you out.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's all the time we have for Q&A, and we are coming to time with the event. So I want to thank Avi and Andre for their time and the authentic conversation today. Thank you for bringing up, you know, the topics of ambiguity, resilience, but also reminding us that, you know, there are endless possibilities when defining your goals. So a big thank you as well to the audience for joining. We hope to leave you with these impactful takeaways.
And although we are at time, the conversation does not stop today. We have another event coming up, the Black in Canada panel discussion. It's still on the theme of showcasing Black excellence, where we will have a panel of high-profile business leaders to raise awareness on the best practices and key steps to create an environment where individuals can live their full potential. Listen out, we'll send an email, and please sign up before all the spots are gone, and we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you again for joining us today, and have an amazing day.